Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video. We are back again with another week of Osiris League betting. Before we do the actual bets, let me remind you to do your weekly Allure of Gold quests so you can get these two I Have Talent coins. This training one takes a little bit of effort, so just a reminder to get that done. And we will place our I Have Talent coins on 60 GT, since that's the team that we are feeling the best about to win the overall realm that they're in this Osiris League. And we are now into the round of 16 in all the realms. So we've gone from 32 teams of pool play to now the final 16 teams who are in a single elimination bracket. And really, teams are going for those top 4 spots where you get a really nice castle skin and the bulk of the rewards for a high Osiris League finish. But there's also merit to simply winning a match and then being able to play Ark of Osiris the next week and getting the extra rewards from playing the match. This week, we're all playing Ark of Osiris, but for any of these teams, if they win this week, then they will play again next week. And whereas 99% of the ROK population will not get ARK rewards next week, the teams that do win the match this week will get to play again. They'll get those extra rewards, and those rewards can extrapolate over time and help your kingdom be stronger. Anyway, on to the bets. We're doing very well in Osiris League betting. We won our 2 big bets again last week. So we have a lot of Oryx at this point, and it really only costs about 18,000 Oryx to buy out all of the good items in the shop. So we can become a little bit more conservative in our betting at this point. And so we are going to bet on some favorites, and we're going to put some of our Oryx in just very safe betting areas. But first bet here is going to be 17-18 over 16-02 OT. This is going to be betting on the underdog. And this is pretty much just a situation where we feel like 17-18 had better competition in their pool play, and they went 3-0 against those teams, whereas 16-OT had a couple not easy opponents, but they didn't do that great against 1v. Peak was an easy win, and then their win against 71D is decent. It's a decent 11,000 point differential, but 71D is not a super strong team. And 17-18 got that same point differential against 1158. We just feel like 1158 is a better team than 71D. And so this seems like a very, very good bet. And we're going to bet 15% of our Oryx on 17-18 here. So let me do the quick math here. Let's just say we have 14,000. So that's going to be 2,100 on 17-18. And so you're just betting 15% of your bankroll, and your bankroll is simply how many Oryx, these red and yellow coins, you have. All right, our next bet is going to be on EV here. EV is a big underdog against 188. EV managed to make it out of pool play with a win in week 3 against V648. They are a stronger team now because they have left KVK and gotten all their troops back than they were at the beginning of Osiris League. And we just don't quite know how good 1188 is, because they've had mostly some pretty easy opponents up to this point. And 1188 looks very, very strong, but EV just, you know, they're a solid team. They've had some nice wins in pool play. I mean, they actually went 1-2 in pool play, so it's kind of interesting that they made it this far. But anyway, we feel like they are a live underdog. They're, you know, a heavy underdog. And so we are just going to bet 5% of our Oryx on EV here. And then our last bet in the realm of Horus is going to be on 93T over E301. And this really just comes down to the fact that 93T did pretty well against JST in week 3. They lost by about 11,000 points, but that's a respectable performance against a former Osiris League champion. Whereas E301 played 2 very, very close matches in their pool play. And so we don't really think that E301 is an especially strong team. They're strong, but they're not especially strong. Whereas 93T is considered one of the best teams in the realm of Horus. And so we are going to bet on 93T here as a reasonable but not overly big favorite here. We're just very, very confident that 93T can win this match. And so we're going to bet, again, 15% of our bankroll on 93T. All right, so those are our 3 bets in the realm of Horus. We also have some bets in realm of Anubis. We have 4 bets here in realm of Anubis. 4 bets here in Anubis. The first one's going to be on CHA as a very big underdog to SV68. I'm mainly basing this bet on the fact that SV68 had a pretty close win in week 3 against WA49. So while SV68 has done well in Osiris League and in their pool play, they went 3-0. We don't quite know what tier SV68 is at. We don't know if they're sort of a team that is capable of competing to make the final 4, or if they're more of a round of 16 or quarterfinalist type team. Because again, they didn't win by a ton against W849. So CHA has a good amount of power. They have what looks like maybe a Korean alliance here, and as just a monster underdog, we are again comfortable betting 5% of our bankroll on CHA in the realm of Anubis. Now, the second bet we're going to make here in Anubis is we are going to bet on CN21 against PK26. PK26 is another team that made it through pool play even though they only went 1-2. This essentially happens when one team goes 3-0 and then all 3 of the other teams go 1-2. So PK eked their way into the round of 62, and I think when people look at a bet like this, they really see 2 teams with similar amounts of power and a similar number of stars, and they think, oh, this is a fair matchup. Let's just bet on the underdog here, PK26. But the thing is, I think we're essentially making a read that CN21 had a number of very solid wins, and so even if these two groups were equally strong, CN21's wins were so much more impressive than PK26's wins. I mean, CN21, they went 3-0. They won all their matches. And so if we just assume that these 2 pools have equal competition, CN21 did much, much better in their pool play overall. And so we are going to bet 10% of our bankroll on CN21 in the realm of Anubis. The next bet we're going to make is on K244 against CPLW. Now with this bet, and this is a conservative bet on K244, look, they just played last week. These exact 2 teams played in week 3 of the pool play. K244 won by 50,000 points. There are definitely some flaws with the brackets this season. This is not the only match where teams played in the week 3 of pool play and then they are matched up again in the round of 16. That should never happen in a bracket like this. That should never happen in a league that goes from round robin pool play into a final bracket. You should never play a team from your exact pool in the very next round. But that did happen here. And so we can just very comfortably put 30% of our bankroll on K244, pretty much knowing that they're going to win. All right, there we go. 30% on K244. And now for our last bet of the day, we are going with, and this is a marquee matchup. This is a matchup that will be televised. I'm sure this will be one of the most viewed matches of the week. It's going to be 60 MS against WIB WIB. This is the number 2 alliance in 1960 against the number 1 alliance in 1846. These are two of the very well-known alliances in this game. These are two of the alliances that have an impact on the outcomes of the, highest end marquee Lost Kingdom wars that have taken place and will take place in the future in Rise of Kingdoms. These are two very strong, well-known, accomplished alliances. And what I'm looking at here is I am looking at the Week 2 matchup between 60 MX and 60 GT. 60 GT is, of course, the number 1 alliance in 1960. They are the former multi-time Osiris League champions. And 60 MX, their sister alliance, their little brother alliance. 60 MX did quite well in Week 2. They only lost by 7,500 points. That's one arc, basically, difference in this matchup. On the other hand, WIB only won in Week 2 by 1,000 points against SJ32, which is not really a top team or anything like that. And so it just looks to me like 60 MX is the stronger team here. They have probably practiced more for this match since WIB is in KVK and has a very tough war on their doorstep that's, I think, starting next week. So I just think 60 MX is more focused on Osiris League, and I think they're probably the stronger team here. So we're going to bet our remaining bankroll, in this case 20%. Actually, it's a bit more than 20%. I guess it's closer to 25%. Sorry, I think my math might be wrong on these percentages. Let me add them up real quick. Well, I'll place the bet now. Let me show you the bets, and I'm going to add these up real quick. 20%, 35%, 40%, 50%. Okay, we did it. We did it right. We did it right. All right. Yeah, so those are the bets. Here's another look at them. I will put a nice visual here right at the end of the video. But yeah, that's what we're going with in Osiris League this week. If you have made it this far in the video, then please throw a like on it. That really helps me out. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have made it this far in the video, then I assume you are someone who is into Arco Osiris. You might be a person who uses the skills in your own team's Osiris matches. And so I did want to just point one thing out here that I noticed the other day. For the majority of the time that there's been these skills in Ark of Osiris, War Drums and Mystical Formation have given the same number of stats, or the same percentage of stats. I think it was always 50%. You got a 50% boost in defense for Mystical Formation, and on War Drums you got a 50% boost in attack. However, at some point along the way, Lilith very quietly has changed these around to where War Drums now gives 80% attack for the same duration of time. So War Drums has basically gone from 50% of stats to 80% of stats, whereas Mystical Formation has stayed the same at 50%. This might be a mistake. I'm not quite sure, because they did increase the cost of these two skills. I don't know if it's a mistake, or I don't know if Lilith just sort of looked at this and said, oh, people are using Mystical Formation more often than War Drums, therefore Mystical Formation must be better. People really just use Mystical Formation first because we feel like defense is slightly better than attack. But look, when you're talking about 30% more of stats, War Drums is now clearly the better skill between Mystical Formation and War Drums. And the other question then is, do you use War Drums instead of Total Vision? Because a lot of Osiris League teams are using Total Vision in conjunction with Dust Up during their mid-fights. But I would argue that War Drums is better than Total Vision. Okay, so this is giving 20% all damage for 180 seconds. When I convert 20% all damage to stats, I give it a 2.5x multiple. So this is essentially 45 to 50% of attack for 180 seconds. It also gives you slightly more visual range, but it costs 4 points to use it. You're getting 50% of stats here, right? But with War Drums, you're getting 80% of stats. Yes, you don't get the added vision, but if you're in a mid-fight where you have a hidden sentry ward down, you don't need that extra vision from total vision. And so I would argue that War Drums is definitely better than Mystical Formation at this point. And I would also argue personally that War Drums is better than Total Vision. So that's just a little PSA, a little pro tip for anybody who made it this far in the video. Something I noticed as I'm grinding Ark of Osiris for my alliance. That's it for the video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.